Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. So there's so many UFC fighters calling out boxers, right? And it's just getting more and more out of control. And I really don't know what these MMA fighters are expecting. We know that they want more money. And the fact is, the only place a UFC fighter is going to make life-changing money is if they come over to the boxing ring. Now, any UFC fighter can get a boxing license as long as he can pass the physicals, etc. And then he come over here and earn it. But the big names like Ngannou and Usman, those guys, they can definitely get themselves lined up for a high-profile match. But they gotta stop with this crap about, boxers being afraid to fight them. Let me tell you something, man. No damn boxer afraid to fight a UFC fighter. No boxer is afraid to fight a UFC fighter. Okay? Now, UFC fighters are tough. They train in something totally different. Like, that's a totally different world. If you're not a wrestler and you get in there with a wrestler, you're probably gonna get your ass handed to you. So, same thing goes with if you're not a boxer, right? These guys in the MMA, some of them have decent hands, but this, boxing is the sweet science. There's more to it. Now, if you have a big punch, then it doesn't matter who you're fighting, boxer, jiu-jitsu guy, wrestler. If you've got a big punch and you can land it, you can get somebody out of there. But when Usman is going at Canelo, like, someone needs to tell him to hold your horses. Like, quit being so thirsty for the payday, like Canelo says. I get it, Usman. Guys like that, Usman, he wants money. They want the big paydays. They deserve that. Ngannou, I'm going to get to him in a second because he's just a sad case. But you can't come over there and call out the boxer and then say, let's do it in the octagon. What's wrong with you? If you're gonna call out the boxer, you gotta expect for the fight to take place as a boxing match, right? Simple. You're not the A side. Anybody calling out Canelo, whether it's a boxer, whether it's a MMA fighter, whether it's a strong man, anybody. If you call out Canelo, you do what he says. One thing about Canelo, man, Canelo learned from Floyd Mayweather about the A side. The A side, you never heard anybody talk about no damn A side, B side, C side. Until Floyd Mayweather started pushing that narrative. And you know what? He's right. Because Floyd learned from other fighters. And it wasn't quite coined as the A side, but Floyd Mayweather is the one you hear pushing it. And he had the upper hand at all negotiations because of what he brought to the table. Eddie Hearn understands that too, about profiles, platforms, what a person brings to the table. So with these MMA fighters, there's only one MMA fighter who brings something to the table to where he can he would have a voice at a negotiating table. That's Conor McGregor. That's the truth. Say what you want about Conor McGregor with all his losses. People want to see him fight. Man's a billionaire for a reason. It's like, now, of course, McGregor's worth more. But what I'm doing is talking about the losses. It's like Adrian Broner. The man has some losses, some lackluster performances, but he has the name. People want to see him fight. So unless you're bringing something to the table, especially from the MMA world, you can't come over to boxing and think you're going to dictate things. Like, you're outside of your comfort zone now. You're in our world. You got to do what the A side says. Anyone calling out Canelo, man, it just needs to stop. Okay? So now that's the deal with Usman. I think the fight would be very fun to watch. I think Usman would I don't think he would just get totally blown out of there. I think he loses, but I don't think that he would embarrass himself, because one thing about the MMA fighters, and I just got to be fair, man. The same way I think it's crazy for them to think they're gonna come over and just beat a elite boxer in a boxing match. Yeah, MMA fighters are tough, man. They're very tough, But getting hit by a boxer with the type of punches that boxers throw is a lot different from someone just catching you with, a wild right hand or something like that. It's a lot different. And and a lot of them have, they've done a lot of sparring and stuff, but it's just different when you're in that ring. But when it comes to, what's his name, man? Usman, I think Usman will be able to handle himself pretty good, but Canelo beats him easy. Usman gets the payday he wants, and he should shut up. Then you go on now to Ngannou. Ngannou is the saddest story in MMA. Absolutely sad, disgusting what's going on with that man. It's ridiculous. As Ngannou should be a gazillionaire. He should be a gazillionaire. He doesn't have the right team behind him. He doesn't have the support from Dana White. It's just horrible to see what's going on with Ngannou. Ngannou doesn't even know how to come out and self-promote himself. He come out there with Tyson Fury. 98,000 seats sold in this huge stadium. Pay-per-view, all that. Got the whole world watching. They put the microphone in front of him. He said, hey, now we can show the people who is the baddest mother bleep bleep on the planet. Man, nobody want to hear that crap. That's because in the MMA world, that's how they talk and carry on. You come over there in England, first of all, English people, they're not one for all of that profanity and stuff like that. Very eloquent, very articulate. So when you come out there and you have to speak like that, they'll question your intelligence. That's not an American audience. Now, they are all about the confrontation. They're all about promoting the fight, and they're about having the two guys go at it. No problem. But when you come out there talking about, hey, yes, I will show the people who is the baddest mother bleep bleep on the planet. I show you, Yo, Ngannou's sad, man. Now he's looking at what Tyson Fury's making. That's one thing. You can't watch other people's pockets. You can't watch other people's pockets. Yeah, Tyson Fury, man, Deontay Wilder. It's not just them. It's not just them. There's other boxers, man. They all make a lot of money in boxing. But you gotta look at Dana White at some point. Dana White needs to be looking at this. His business, his brand is suffering right now. His business, his brand is suffering. All of his fighters from different weight classes are complaining about pay. They're so frustrated that they're becoming desperate and just throwing themselves to the wolves and begging boxers for a payday. That does not make Dana White look good. It's horrible. And I feel bad for Ngannou. He's an excellent athlete. He's an extremely talented fighter, extremely heavy hands, extremely tough, extremely resilient. And this man can't get paid at least $1 million. Yeah, that's horrible. That's sad. You look at what Ngannou had to do to get from Cameroon to the States. Ended up just to get to France. That story is crazy. Gets over to France, wanted to be a boxer. That was a dream. Got involved in MMA, did well at that. Fast forward, he's here now. Getting $600,000 paydays. When really he should be getting $10 million. But Dana White, we already know how that business model is structured. He's the one who's getting the lion's share of everything from everyone. And it's sad because it's the culture in that MMA world for a lot of those fighters is just to be the toughest guy. And be like Ngannou said, the baddest made it blah, blah, blah on the planet. I want to show I'm the baddest. But in boxing, yeah, nobody care about being the baddest. They care about money. This shit is a business. And sometimes we as a fan suffer because we don't get the fights that we deserve to see because guys are out there making business moves. But in MMA, the fans are always happy because they're getting the fights they want to see. Because it's all about who's the baddest, who's the toughest, and because Dana White makes them fight each other. You see? It's a dictatorship over there. Iron-fisted leadership. And these guys don't have a choice. And they'll never have a choice or a voice because of how that business model is structured, how the contracts are very explicitly written. But, Dana White's going to have to sort this out because you're going to see more and more of these guys. The issue isn't that they're coming over to boxing and they're losing the boxing matches. It's that they're begging. They're begging for these boxing matches. They're begging for paydays. That makes Dana White look crazy. It's just like you having children in your house and they're looking at their friends across the street and see these kids eating, let's just say they're eating better than them. And they go over there begging. It's like, okay, y'all not eating over there? Yeah, but we eating top ramen, man, and Vienna sausage. Y'all eating curried goat and shrimp. Y'all eating nice stuff over here, steak. Y'all drinking coconut water, drinking nice sweet drinks. And we over here, man, with Kool-Aid, or grape drink. That should make a parent feel a kind of way, to do better. It's like, nah, this isn't good. These are my children. So whatever money I'm spending on me and being selfish, let me put that into these kids and make them happy because I can't have them going out there because my brand, my family, it makes my last name look bad. At Dana White, it's making him look bad. And he's got to sort that out because that's horrible. These MMA fighters are looking for those paydays, man. Conor McGregor, he was able to pull it off because of what he brought to the table. And Ngannou, he brings to me more to the table as far as the excitement and his ability and his chances knocking out a Tyson Fury. But he's just hasn't been marketed right because he doesn't have the right team behind him. So if he comes over to boxing, yeah, he'll make big money. But he can make so much more if his profile was heightened. So when it comes to Usman and Ngannou, when it comes to any of these other fighters wanting to come over and fight in the boxing world, Dana White's got to sort that out because it's just making them look crazy. Those MMA fighters are special too, man. They deserve to get paid better money. They do. And it's frustrating that they're not. I feel for those guys. I really do. But those guys put a lot of hard work in. Those guys are out to get knee, getting elbow, getting choked out, getting, stomped. Like this, what they go through, that's why they have those large crowds. That's why their events are always selling out. And then to not reward them with the money they deserve, that's crazy. You get guys come to the boxing ring, come in the ring and barely do anything and get paid more than them, who are actually going out there and losing teeth and getting fractures and breaks. It's horrible. But I think MMA, they need to figure it out because there's so much attention on them. I mean, put it to you this way, right? Clarissa Shields, Serrano and Taylor are getting paid over $1 million for their fight at Madison Square Garden. And Ngannou just had a huge fight against a tough guy, and he only got $600,000. That's a problem. So, anyway, man, more to come on this. I'm gonna start covering this more because it's just frustrating to me to wake up and see Usman trying to call out Canelo, and it's just crap. You trying to call out Canelo because he wants the money. You're gonna see Israel Adesanya, whatever his last name. You're gonna start seeing them. You're gonna start seeing all these guys because at the end of the day, like Floyd Mayweather said, you can't feed your kids belts. You can't eat belts. These guys need to get paid, man. And I'm for all fighters. I'm boxing. I love boxing, but I recognize what the MMA guys are doing, man. Those guys are tough, man. They deserve to get paid, but goddamn, if you're gonna come over and call out a boxer, don't start talking this shit about boxers are scared because they won't come to the MMA world. We don't want to be in the MMA world. You know what I'm saying? We're over here sleeping. We're eating good. We're living good over here. Why would we come over there to be miserable? You crazy? You want to come over here, you do it my way. And that's just the way it is. But Dana White, you got to figure that out. Anyway, man, like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Appreciate your support. Shout out to all the veterans, and I'm in the breeze.